you should resign. You need to resign, period. Reason I say that, Doggy, is because when a player, any player, but especially one of that magnitude, attacks you publicly like that, that weak-ass statement Commissioner Engelbert gave is not good enough.
Okay, so Stephen A. Smith just went there. He did what literally no one in WNBA leadership has dared to do, right? He told Commissioner Cathy Engelbert to resign. And honestly, he's totally right. This isn't just about one bad referee call, or a rough press conference, or even a tough season. This is about the entire credibility of the league. So, here's my question for you. Do you think Cathy Engelbert can actually survive all this?
Listen, I've reached out to Cathy Engelbert's office. I said, you are welcome to come on my show today and explain, because I want to know how the hell somebody said something like that about you as the commissioner. Doggy, come on, man. I mean, whether it was David Stern or Adam Silver or Roger Goodell or Paul Tagliabue or Pete Rose, could you imagine a commissioner being called out like that directly?
So, here's the whole setup. For months now, the WNBA has just been in pure chaos. You know, coaches are getting fined for speaking their minds, players are getting injured because of reckless officiating, and fans are just sitting there wondering if the league even cares about its own product.
And good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning,
I think it's important to note who Napheesa Collier is, right? We're talking about a runner-up to the MVP multiple times in her career. We're talking about one of the more measured players in the league, is not someone who flies off the handle emotionally. When she sat down, that was a written statement. And so I think, to me, I can't help but look ahead to the end of October, gentlemen, in which the current collective bargaining agreement will end for the WNBA. And it seems that these sides are woefully far apart. Across the league, in terms of responses from players, there has been no one that hesitated to back Fee and stand alongside of her as players, because she is that trusted and regarded that she would not come to the conversation ill-prepared.
Listen, Collier's comments? They weren't just some spicy sound bites tossed out there. Nah, they were precise. They were written. She delivered them like a lawyer giving a closing argument. Seriously. She basically said Engelbert told her, only losers complain about refs. And then get this. She went even further, claiming the commissioner had the sheer audacity to say Caitlin Clark should be grateful to the WNBA because without it, she wouldn't be making any money. Excuse me? Caitlin Clark had national sponsors before she even graduated from Iowa. She's supposed to bow down and thank Cathy Engelbert for existing? That's not leadership. That's just completely delusional. And when Collier brought all those receipts to the public, Engelbert's response was this PR statement, so weak it could barely even stand up.
Did you imagine somebody directing comments and criticisms at you, taking conversations they've had with you directly and telling the world what you said? And did you see that statement Commissioner Engelbert gave? She basically provided no defense of herself. I don't have the statement directly in front of me, y'all.
And mischaracterization.
A mischaracterization.
She was disheartened.
I'm disheartened at the mischaracterization. What?
What? Seriously, what? Instead of strongly denying any of it, or clarifying, or at least trying to defend her leadership, Cathy just said she was disheartened by the mischaracterization. Look, that's pure corporate talk. That's basically code for, yeah, I probably said it, but I'm really just hoping this whole thing blows over without me having to deal with it.
But I'm just saying, her words were piercing. That was an attack against your leadership. It was an attack against your integrity. It was an attack against your character. Against your character.
But Stephen A. was absolutely not having any of that. On his show, he just went off. He said it straight up. You need to resign, period.
That timid, tepid statement, she looks guilty as hell. And then I'm looking at it and I'm saying, did you really say that? Mm-hmm. Did you really say that Caitlin Clark should thank her Heavenly Stars, that she wouldn't be worth anything if she wasn't playing in the WNBA? Did you really say? See, all of these things that Napheesa Collier brought up, I'm sitting back going like this. Girl, you got my ears perked. I'm listening because she got very, very specific. And for her to come, the commissioner to come back with that, you can't have her at the negotiating table talking to players. Basically, the Fisher Council says she's in the way of our growth and our development as a league, not just on the player side, but on the league side. She's not good for basketball.
Now, let's be really clear here. The WNBA has had its issues for years. You know, low ratings, constant financial struggles, and just this desperate need for stars to actually carry the brand. And then, boom, Caitlin Clark shows up. She pulled millions of viewers into regular season games. She made Indiana Fever tickets harder to buy than NBA playoff seats. For real. She became the entire storyline for the league. So, how has the WNBA rewarded her, right? By allowing refs to practically mug her on the court, and then finding coaches who even dare to say it's a problem. That, right now, is Engelbert's legacy. Pure incompetence and arrogance, all rolled into one. And Stephen A., he wasn't speaking in a vacuum here. He pointed out exactly what fans have been screaming for months. The refereeing is totally inconsistent. The physicality isn't just basketball. It's borderline dangerous. And instead of protecting the league's biggest star, Engelbert is busy patting herself on the back for a media rights deal that, let's be honest, was driven by the NBA and Caitlin Clark's star power, not her. Do you honestly think ESPN or CBS would pony up billions for WNBA rights if Caitlin Clark wasn't shattering viewership records? Come on. Without her, this deal looks more like a corporate favor to Adam Silver than anything Cathy cooked up. Yet, Cathy is telling players they should thank their lucky stars for this contract. That's not just tone deaf, it's straight up insulting. But here's why Stephen A's call for her resignation really hits so hard. It's not just about words, it's about trust, plain and simple. When Nafessa Collier, who's a two-time MVP runner-up, and by the way, the vice president of the Players Union, says that leadership is negligent and dismissive, man, that sticks. And when other players like Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull immediately back her up, that's when you really start seeing the cracks forming in the league's foundation. Players aren't just upset anymore, they are totally fed up. Let's talk about Sophie for a second. She literally blasted Engelbert on social media, calling her the most delusional leader our league has ever seen. That's not subtle, right? That's not happening behind closed doors. That's public, it's bold, and it's risky. Because everyone knows fines are coming. But Sophie clearly doesn't care anymore. When your own players are openly mocking the commissioner like that, your days are definitely numbered. And then you have Lexi Hull standing right behind Collier, saying she agrees with every single word. Lexi isn't just another player, either. She's one of the up-and-coming faces of this league. When younger talent is already lining up against you, that's how you know the whole culture is finally shifting. The WNBA just isn't scared of Cathy Engelbert anymore. They're ready to move on. But here's the kicker. Engelbert's leadership failures don't just hurt the players, they hurt the fans too. Every single time Caitlin Clark takes a cheap shot and absolutely nothing happens, fans are left just wondering why they should even invest their time and money into this product. Every time a coach gets fined for saying what everyone already knows, that the officiating is bad, it tells fans the league doesn't care about honesty, only about optics. And look, in sports, optics don't sell tickets, stars sell tickets. Stories sell tickets. Drama sells tickets. And right now, the biggest drama is that the WNBA's commissioner is actually at war with her own players. That is just not sustainable. You simply cannot build a league by alienating your biggest stars. Think about what happened in baseball during the steroid scandal, or in the NFL with its concussion cover-ups. Fans will forgive mistakes, but they will never, ever forgive a league that doesn't respect its own talent. Steven totally understands this, and that's exactly why he said Engelbert has to go. He's not saying it because he hates the WNBA, he's saying it because he knows this is the breaking point. You can't negotiate a new CBA when the players openly think the commissioner is against them. You can't sell sponsors on growth when your biggest star is getting assaulted on national TV. You can't convince networks to keep paying top dollar when ratings risk dropping because fans are tired of all the nonsense. And let's not forget the timing here. The current CBA is up soon. Players are already getting ready for a possible lockout. If Engelbert is the face of those negotiations, good luck getting anywhere. Trust is already completely broken. You can't fix that with weak PR statement. Players aren't buying it, fans aren't buying it, and now even mainstream analysts like Stephen A. aren't buying it either. Here's the thing that really stings though. Cathy Engelbert isn't a dumb person. Not at all. She's super smart, she came from Deloitte, so she knows numbers, she knows business. Absolutely. But running a sports league isn't just about the numbers. It's about relationships. It's about protecting your players, engaging your fans, and showing the media that you genuinely understand the product. And Cathy has failed on every single one of those fronts. And when Nafisa Collier laid it all out like that, it just exposed what everyone already suspected. Engelbert is a corporate executive trying to play commissioner. And honestly, that act just isn't working anymore. Plus, think about how totally absurd her grateful comment about Caitlin Clark was. Caitlin had Nike before she even stepped foot in the WNBA. She had Gatorade. She had State Farm. She had a brand so massive that every arena she played in during college sold out. To claim the WNBA somehow made Caitlin Clark, that's like claiming the lottery made people rich just because it sold them a ticket. No. Caitlin brought the value to the WNBA. The WNBA is simply cashing in, and Engelbert pretending otherwise just shows how completely detached she really is. Now, let's swing this back to Stephen A. He made a really crucial point. When a commissioner is accused, this specifically, actual words, actual conversations, you just don't get to brush that off with some vague mischaracterization. If those words weren't true, you hit back hard. You deny it flat out. You defend your credibility right then and there. Engelbert didn't do any of that. And you know what? That silence screams louder than any fine she could ever hand out. So, here's what happens next. The NBA, honestly, owns part of this mess too. Adam Silver absolutely has to step in here. He just can't sit back while the WNBA crumbles under Engelbert's leadership. Seriously, because make no mistake, if Caitlin Clark gets fed up and decides to leave for Unrivaled or some other league, it's game over. Viewership will just tank. Sponsors will pull out left and right, and Adam Silver knows that you can bet on it. That's exactly why Stephen A. calling for Engelbert's resignation isn't just media noise, it's a very real warning shot. Look, if Engelbert stays, the CBA talks are going to be a disaster. If she stays, players are going to keep blasting the league publicly. If she stays, fans will just keep turning away. The only path forward, the only path is for Adam Silver and the WNBA owners to cut ties now and find someone who actually understands what this league truly needs. Accountability, transparency, and genuine respect for the players who are driving the entire product. Now, let's dig even deeper into why Stephen A.'s words matter so much here. He didn't just casually toss out some hot take, you know? This wasn't some quick rant about a random trade deadline move. This was a direct, clear call for the WNBA commissioner to step down. Think about the weight of that. Stephen A. is the most watched sports commentator on television. When he speaks, that message echoes across ESPN. It blows up on social media, and it even makes its way into boardrooms. His words move public opinion, and right now, his message is pretty clear. Cathy Engelbert is simply unfit to lead. This isn't just bad press. This is catastrophic. Because look, perception is absolutely everything in sports. It doesn't matter if Engelbert personally believes she's doing a good job. It doesn't matter if she can point to some billion-dollar media deal. If the public and the players both think she's the problem, then guess what? She is the problem. You can't run from that. And make no mistake, the optics here could not be worse. On one side, you've got Nafisa Collier, who's one of the most respected and poised stars in the entire game, delivering a calm, measured, written statement about Engelbert's failures. On the other side, you have Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull co-signing her every single word. And then you have Stephen A. Smith, the loudest voice in sports media, essentially saying, yep, they're all right. That's not just a storm, guys. That is a hurricane. Now let's talk about those specific failures again, because they are truly the backbone of why Engelbert's seat is so hot right now. First, the officiating. Everyone in the league knows it's bad. Players say it, coaches say it, fans scream it, and instead of addressing it head-on, Engelbert dismisses it with that smug line about only losers complain about refs. That's not leadership, that's actively antagonizing your own athletes. Imagine if Roger Goodell told Patrick Mahomes to stop whining about holding call. Imagine if Adam Silver told LeBron James that only losers complain about refs. The backlash would be absolutely nuclear. But Engelbert thought she could get away with it in the WNBA. Wrong move. Second, the treatment of Caitlin Clark. Let's be honest, the league struck pure gold with her.